Now, let's watch the video about tragedy of Joel Osteen's son. The famous preacher Joel Osteen's son, Jonathan Osteen, got into a car accident that got him into trouble with the law and in the news. In Houston, Texas, the Osteen family is well known for their work at Lakewood Church. They became famous because of this event, which had nothing to do with their faith or social work. People had a lot to say about accountability, privilege, and the duties of public people after the case. The accident happened in Houston, Texas, when Jonathan Osteen, who was driving a high-end car, hit another car at a crossroads, even though there are still disagreements about the facts of the crash. At first, it seemed like Jonathan might have been busy when the accident happened. The other driver, a middle-aged woman named Maria Gonzalez, was seriously hurt. She had broken bones and a concussion, and she needed a lot of medical care and therapy. Maria Gonzalez sued Jonathan Osteen, saying he was negligent and asking for money to cover her medical bills and lost wages, in mental and physical pain. Her legal team said that Jonathan's actions caused the accident and that the fact that he is from a rich and powerful family shouldn't shield him from responsibility. The case got a lot of attention right away, and some people said the Osteen family was trying to use their money to lessen the effects of the scandal. The court case went on for several months, and both sides gave their accounts of what happened. The people defending Jonathan said that the accident was just a bad accident and not because of careless behavior. They said that Jonathan wasn't driving too fast or drunk, and that the accident may have been caused by outside factors like bad road conditions. They also stressed how sorry Jonathan was and how willing he was to fully help with the legal process. The case also showed what it means to be a public figure in a larger sense. Jonathan was closely watched because he was the son of Joel Osteen, who was one of the most famous preachers in the United States. Some people didn't believe that his family's wealth and power would give them special treatment in the justice system. Supporters of the Osteen family, on the other hand, said that Jonathan should be treated fairly and be thought to be innocent just like everyone else. The Osteen family stayed out of the public eye during the court case. During a church service, Joel Osteen briefly talked about the problem. He asked for prayers for everyone concerned and stressed how important it is to forgive and understand. But the family mostly avoided talking about the case in public, probably to keep the news from becoming even more dramatic. It is important to remember that accidents can happen to anyone, no matter how rich or famous they are. Jonathan Osteen, like everyone else, has the right to a fair trial, and it is good that he apparently cooperated fully with the proceedings. However, because of his family's fame and wealth, the case was bound to get more attention. This level of scrutiny can be both a good and a bad thing. It can make things clearer, but it can also lead to unfair judgments and assumptions about purpose or character. Maria Gonzalez, the other person involved in the accident, filed a case that shows how important it is to hold people accountable, especially when injuries and money losses happen. It is completely reasonable for her to want to get paid for her medical bills and pain and suffering. Accident victims deserve justice and the tools they need to start over, so her desire for a legal answer was both reasonable and necessary. At the same time, how people responded to the case brings up an important problem that comes up a lot in our society: how we see privilege. A lot of people wondered if the Osteen family's money and power would give them special treatment in the justice system. It makes sense for them to be skeptical, because famous people often seem to get away with not facing the full effects of their deeds. The fact that the case was settled and the victim is said to have received financial help is a good sign, but the fact that the deal is private raises concerns about fairness and transparency. The Osteen family mostly kept quiet about what happened while Joel Osteen spoke quickly to the congregation. This seems like a measured response, but it brings up another point of debate. In one way, their silence might have been an attempt to follow the law and avoid making things too controversial. But they could have used their public stage to talk about bigger issues like responsibility and humility, setting an example for those who follow them. People who looked to the family for spiritual guidance might have responded well to a more honest admission of what happened, along with a message about taking responsibility. The part of this story that makes people feel like they are real stands out to me. Jonathan Osteen was suddenly put in the harsh focus. He was used to being seen in the background because of how influential his father was. This shows that even people born into wealth can make mistakes, go through hard times, and be criticized by others. Going through such a difficult event must have been very hard for both Jonathan and his family, who must have felt the weight of having their name linked to the controversial court case. In a larger sense, this event shows how important it is to focus on road safety and how individual responsibility can help stop accidents. No matter if distractions played a part or not, the case is a powerful example of how a brief slip-up can have life-changing effects on everyone involved. This thought should make everyone think about what they do when they're behind the wheel. The case was finally solved without going to court. the Osteen family agreed to pay Maria Gonzalez a large amount of money. There was a confidentiality agreement in the settlement, but it was widely reported that the money paid for her hospital bills and gave her extra money to help her recover. The decision put an end to the court case. But those who followed the story will never forget what happened. The accident and case that followed showed the problems that come with being famous, especially for the kids of famous people. Even though Jonathan Osteen got a lot of bad press and attention from the public, the event also showed how important it is to be responsible and kind when dealing with these kinds of problems. A lot of people use the case to remember that no one is not responsible for the consequences of their acts, no matter how rich or famous they are.